So again, going back to the other piece was the compliance piece. We talked about LRE as a district. Our initial numbers, we are deep. Oh, sorry. Least restrictive environment. Right, sorry. Thank you for calling me out on that. Least restrictive environment is indicator 5 for the state, right? And so that is the amount of time students spend in general education, right? So we have targets to meet for that piece. And so right now, I got to look at the data, but our target to have 80% of our kids, our target to have our kids spend 80% or more in general education is around, I believe it's around 55%, right? And so we fell short a little bit of that last year, and so that continues to be a target that we're striving for. The other component to LRE is separate settings, right? And so separate settings are your CTCs, your career transition centers, right? Your special education centers, and your non-public schools, right? So that falls all in our CELPA. So we have, just in our non-public schools, we have about 2,200 kids, which makes up about 2% of our student with disabilities population, or 2.5%. Our target for the state for separate settings, set by the state, is 4%. Right? So right now we are at 8% when you count the non-public schools, the career transition centers, the special education centers, right? We obviously want to do, strengthen our programs at our comprehensive sites, our continuum of services at our comprehensive sites, so we can not have as many kids go to separate settings. Now this is all student-based, right? Our RTC students, our residential treatment centers, right? Those are kids that are in our 24/7 care, right? They are across the nation. We have about 75 or maybe 60 kids in those settings, and those are settings that are expensive, right? But that's what the kid needs, and that's part of free appropriate education. So, but those kids are counted as our separate settings. So anyway, just a high-level overview of that. I know there's been a side letter in regards to our inclusive sites, right? We have 80 schools, I think, 80 or 82. That side letter pertains to those schools, and that talks about the resources, it talks about the training, it talks about the steps that the school must go through, and not must go through, but what they need to have, right? It's all about training our teachers to provide those services, right? So that side letter is only for those 8+ schools, but our LRE target is always going to be, we've always had this focus. It's just, this is now being called out as a state indicator.